Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Planet Reddit. Serious, people who are going through depression. What do you wish your friends and family understand about you? I wish I could tell them without them changing how they treat me. Yeah. When I eventually told my dad that I had thinking about killing myself and I was scared I was actually going to do it, for once he changed into a completely different person. He has always been a traditionally stern, man of the house father figure. But after I told him, suddenly he acted like he cared for once. I'm sure he always did, but he never used to show it. But now he's always checking on me and seeing how I'm getting on with my medication, which I should be starting next week. Hey man, that's good to hear. I hope it all works out. I saw this on the internet forever ago and it's always stuck with me. One awesome thing about Eeyore's friends is that even though Eeyore seems to be clinically depressed, he still gets invited to participate in adventures and shenanigans with all of his friends. And they never expect him to pretend to feel happy. They just love him anyway. And they never leave him behind or ask him to change. I'm about to cry. Thank you for sharing this quote. Eeyore is my favorite. This gave me a lot of affirmation. Thank you. That I don't feel the way I do due to a poor sleep schedule. I have a poor sleep schedule because of how I feel. You know, when you're almost asleep but you just need to let go control of your brain for a few seconds to actually fall asleep. Those few seconds are so ducking terrifying I would rather stay awake for days. That's why I have a poor sleep schedule anyway. Holy shit. That's scary. In your perspective though. To me, I find it relaxing. Your mind is almost like a portal to a place you can do whatever and be free. Then you let go. Almost like pulling the cork in a bathtub. Draining your thoughts. So new ones can enter. And you can be at ease because although the water's gone, the bathtub will remain. A simple hey, are you okay goes a very long way with me. Hello. You do not know me, but I am here to ask you one thing. Hey, are you okay? I know how it feels because it has happened to me today. A girl in my school just saw me sitting alone and asked if I was okay and if I needed help. Just to talk to her. Honestly though, the feeling is indescribable and I truly hope you feel better about yourself and really hope you are mentally and physically better than now in the future. Personally, this is the worst thing for me to hear. I don't want to feel like a victim or a patient. I respond a lot better to just being included and thought of. Things like a friend messaging me about a new song or TV show that they're in to remind me that people are thinking about me and care about my opinions, thoughts. That my depression is much worse than they probably realize. You don't recognize unless you've been there. Is it worse than they realize or worse than you let on? I hope you have a good friend. Both actually. If they ever realized how bad it really is, and if I ever let them find out, it would be an immediate do not pass go. Do not collect $200 trip straight to an inpatient facility. That is the last thing I need right now. Sometimes my mood just changes. One day I'll seem like I'm okay, in a good mood. But the next I may be unmotivated, mentally exhausted. When this happens, please don't say but you were just fine yesterday. Why so you keep changing your mood? I don't know. Hugs. Mood swings are exhausting. Wait, what? Do normal people not just wake up in some random state of frustration or happiness? Or have their day determined by a random inconvenience in the morning? Like actually asking this here. I'm not lazy. I am literally unable to motivate myself to do anything. I have no goal or purpose, but it's not that I'm not working towards one. I wish more than anything I could have won. This is one of the biggest ones for me. It's trying to explain the physical feeling of trying to do something that you feel so deeply is utterly pointless, which usually is everything. It's like something has been plugged into your chest and physically sucked all your energy out. The mental signal to get up and move just has nothing to work with. I can try and force it, but any motivational thoughts usually just bring about a backlash where that feeling of being drained gets even deeper, along with a wave of guilt, self-loathing and suicidal ideation. And no, pushing through it and feeling some kind of sense of achievement doesn't work. There's no satisfaction afterwards. Just actual tiredness. To go along with the emptiness. This doesn't apply when I do something I genuinely care about. But I really don't care about much. And I just can't fake it. I can't start caring about something I just don't care about. I explain recovering from depression as learning to walk again. Your motivation and satisfaction muscles have atrophied. They can't carry you much of anywhere. You can push yourself for a bit trying to seem normal. But eventually you'll collapse. You're going to be hurting and even more tired. Just like with a muscle. The way to help it recover is to slowly and gradually exercise your brain more each day. Can you normally not get out of bed? But you can manage to get into the shower today. Congratulations. That's progress. And that's enough. You don't even need perfectly upward progress. Either. People hit plateaus. Or backslide. Or just plain need rest sometimes. As long as you can do one small thing to exercise your mental health more than you could before. It's a step towards getting better. And it's wonderful. You just can't cure depression all at once. Your brain kind of has to relearn how to access the healthier thoughts, feelings, and behaviors gradually. With practice. You may know how you should be, but that doesn't mean your brain is ready to do all of that at once. The hardest thing to communicate is how you feel to someone else. I consider myself pretty decent with words. But no matter how many times I try and describe how I feel to someone, there is always a disconnect. My parents don't have the empathy bone for mental health problems. And my friends have their own issues that I don't want to pile on. Sucks feeling so alone when you technically got people around you. Mac Miller said it's so simple in his latest song. Just so tired of being tired. My friends and I have an unspoken agreement. We all have different mental diseases. We always invite each other to places or text just to check on each other. We never get upset when with each other when we need to just stay in and hide. I'm not okay. Do you have the mental capacity to handle that right now? Let me know if you ever need someone to chat with. I can listen. The feeling of loneliness is probably the hardest thing for me. Never getting invited out. Or feeling like I'm not wanted is the biggest burden to me. I was never part of a clique or group really, and even though I have friends I still don't feel like I'm always welcome. It sucks because being an overthinker, I feel like there's something wrong with me. Why don't I get called to have drinks or go to shows or whatever? Am I that awful of a person? I wish they could understand that I don't know why I'm depressed. There's no one thing, I just am. How would you like someone to talk or help? Or is the mere presence of them sitting with you sufficient? It really depends. Sometimes what helps is when someone really listens to all the things I have in my head, and sometimes I really just need someone to be there so I know I'm not alone. That depression is seriously misunderstood because of its name. When people hear the word depression, they think of it as being depressed. And remember when they were sad. They then think they can make you not sad by saying the shit that normally works when someone is sad. Their heart is in the right place. But this isn't the same thing. Others accuse people with depression of being drama horses and needing to get over it since it's so easy to stop feeling sad. Fueling the misunderstanding nature of it all. Depression isn't being sad. It's a thinking illness. Your thoughts themselves are ill. When you think, this filter for the good comes up and only the bad remains. Recovering from depression is a hard walk between learning how to lower the filter and how to ignore the negative. How do you think of ways to get better when the thoughts themselves are the ones that are the problem? By learning, through practice, that you can think a thought or feel a feeling and acknowledge that it's happening. And then look at it objectively and truly understand that it's not based in reality. You can't control intrusive thoughts or feelings, but you can. Through lots of time and practice. Learn to control your reactions to them. At least that's what my therapist tells me. It helps. When anxiety hits and I swirl in my own head and down the rabbit hole of negative thoughts, I'm now, sometimes, able to talk myself out of it. I think of it like a prosecutor and a defense lawyer. The prosecutor is trying to convince me of all these things that are awful. But I have practiced, when I'm in a decent mental place, whole lists of examples and reasons that these things are not true. Like literally written lists. And sometimes I can remind myself these negative anxiety-driven thoughts are unhealthy and not based in reality. and then mentally force myself to start thinking through the lists that I made when I wasn't in the rabbit hole. Sorry if that seemed rambling. It's a stream of consciousness. Many days still suck and I self-medicate too often. But I'm trying. Thank you. That is a good thought process and practice to take up. I really appreciate you and everyone who has shared so far. The anger that goes with it. Sometimes I cannot explain why I am as angry as I am. I cannot explain why sometimes I get so angry I scream and yell over small things. When really it's much deeper than that. Most of the time I am just angry at myself. Right? I've had serious bouts throughout my life. But this one right now. I'm just ducking pissed like all the time. It's starting to scare me a little. It is scary. I wish I could tell you it gets better. But sometimes it just doesn't. I've sought out help from mental health professionals. Changed my lifestyle, eliminated alcohol. Wasn't a huge drinker. But still. Focused on self-care. And setting boundaries. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it doesn't. I think I am just one of those types of people that is wound tight. I am always tense and ready to react. I gotta believe it translates into anger at some point. Understand my point of view instead of looking at others. Understand why I'm always quiet and angry and irritable. I wish they knew I was feeling sad. My heart hurts. Oh my god, the anger. I'm always so angry and I can't even tell why or at what, so I just end up internalizing it all. Do you ever just snap at people for no particular reason? I hide from people a lot because it's either that or let them realize what a piece of crap I am. I have that same problem. You're feeling stress. You may not realize it, but you are. I feel so shitty and other people around me will believe I am because of the way I'm acting. I don't even apologize when I should. I'm just scared too. It's not about pride or anything, it's just I feel like it's too late. But sometimes it's never late to do so. I don't believe you're a piece of crap, it's just what your stress is making you do because you don't know how to contain it or get rid of it. Right now I'm taking a mental health week. I'm doing the things I like, focusing on liking myself and what aspects I like about myself. Drawing is one of my aspects. It looks like I traced artworks, but I promise you it's drawn by my estimations. I'd like to call myself the Kakashi of drawing painting. I'm sure there are things you like as well that will relieve you of stress. My family used to always make fun of me for not showering and wearing loose clothes. I just wish they'd understand how difficult the smallest tasks were to me. And how hurtful some of the things they said were. Not because what they said was brutal, but because of how fragile I was at the time. Also that I don't like talking about it. Because it makes me uncomfortable and I'd rather not explain why I feel like this, because most times when I ask myself that question it makes me even sadder. I think people who've never dealt with serious depression, anxiety, med side effects, etc. have a hard time recognizing that the amount of effort you need to put into something can change so much based on your state of mind. Also it sucks because yes, I know it only usually takes 5 minutes to shower or change clothes. It expends a minimal amount of calories. But right now I have so little energy for the whole day. That would consume a lot of it. So then you feel bad for not accomplishing something so simple. I try to make myself focus on the small victories, but it's gotta be using my ruler. Not somebody else's. Some days that's like I needed a spoon. So I washed one. And even washed a second one. That I can't just snap out of it. Trust me. I would if I could. I've always hated that. It's the same as when someone is having a panic attack and your response is on par with "oh, be anxious" or "oh, well, just calm down then." Like, beach. If it was that easy, don't you think I would have ducking thought of that by now? My mother has told me on multiple occasions to just choose to be happy. If I could. Does she really think that I wouldn't? Don't give up on me. That there are times where I just can't. There are times where I want to be alone. But at the same time, I hate being alone. So I need you. I love you guys. But as much as I love you, sometimes I can't deal with any of it. I know I push you away. But please be there for me. I love you guys so much. I know I'm a mess. And I'm sorry. How was your day today? In all honesty. Just tell me about it. Maybe it will make you feel a little better. Well, I've been sick the last few days, which has made me skip a few college classes over yesterday and today. Overall though, it's been okay. It's only really bad when I first wake up. And since it's hard to breathe, I wake up really early. After I take medicine for it. It's mainly just fatigue and weakness. Stop telling me what I should do based on your own experiences and making it about you, and maybe try to listen and understand what I'm telling you. I think part of what makes it so hard is that it's a completely lonely experience. It feels like we'll never be able to snap out of it. Even advice from people who have been there and eventually get out of it sounds very insincere. And to me, listening doesn't really do anything. Sympathizing with me compounds it. It is such a shitty loop. OMG. So much this. All I want is to be believed. Not condescended to. Not told to try harder. Not judged. Just listen. Don't interrupt. Don't contradict me. Just ducking listen and at least try to understand. And if they can't understand, at least accept that this is the reality I live every goddamn day. I was suicidally depressed for years and my family never noticed. I literally had a janky thrown together, probably wouldn't work, suicide kit in my room. I think what sucked the most for me, especially as a teen, was that no one noticed the signs of me sleeping all the time, not eating, trying to find ways to self-punish myself. I wish someone saw it and said that I needed help and took me to get it. Maybe things could have turned out differently. Have you found the help you need now? If I may ask, what help should they have taken you to? Well, I don't have the insurance really to dive into psychiatric help. So I just roll with the punches now. Which kind of make the past feel even more like a wasted opportunity. I would have liked a professional evaluation for one. I have trouble focusing. Lots of anxiety around people. And in and out encounters with depressive states. I think it's self-diagnosis, and I know that's not reliable. But that's part of why I wish I talked to a professional. They did bring me to a psychologist once. After I came out when I was 13. But either he wasn't the right fit for me, or more likely I was seeing him for the wrong thing. He mostly focused on trying to reassure me that it's okay to be gay. Which I was pretty comfortable with, personally speaking. I just want them to know that it's okay not to know how to help me. Exactly. Oftentimes someone simply wanting to help is help enough. Obviously I can only speak for myself, but when my depression hits, it hits hard and often makes me feel completely alone, despite being in a very loving marriage. I feel like no one actually cares. I mentally imagine that if I died, none of my co-workers would notice. None of my friends or family would care, etc. When I'm feeling like that, just knowing someone legitimately wants to help does wonders. That I'm full of love and constantly inspired. But I'm also constantly dealing with this internal, seemingly debilitating inner conflict with my depressed self that traps and limits my ability to express joy. It kills me to know the potential I can bring to the world, to my job, my passions outside of work, my relationships, yet feeling that I'm trapped by my depression and cannot unveil my true self. The depression almost always wins. And I wish I was better at overcoming it. But I'm not there yet. I keep pushing you away and I have completely shut down emotionally because it's the only way I know how to deal with all of this. Please keep coming back to me. I know I am hard to deal with. I'm sorry. You going to have make some sort of effort to reach out as well. I know it ain't easy, but people will be hurt when you push them away. Think that's why it's the answer to what we wish people understood. I can 100% relate. I become extremely withdrawn at times. I can't even reach out to my own wife most of the time because of the mental blockage I experience. When I get into a depressive episode, I find literally nothing enjoyable. I find the act of communicate with others tedious and borderline torturous. I feel alone. I feel unlovable. I feel like no one would understand or even care. etc. Yeah. We should make an effort to reach out. But to say I know it ain't easy is less than helpful. I'm 100% sure you were and are trying to be supportive. Just saying that mentality of yeah but you need to reach out to is often more destructive than constructive. It's not that I don't care about my friends. It's that I feel so awful about myself that I can't imagine subjecting other people to my presence. I honestly can't think why anyone would want to be around me or would miss my presence. I mean socially, not presence on the earth. I'm not suicidal. Depression isn't sadness. It's more like nothingness. It's not a mood where I'm feeling depressed. It's a period of time where the peaks of happiness are lower and more fleeting, and so they do less to counterbalance the shitty moments. That means that the shitty moments wear me down more. It also means that I'm less likely to care about seeking out good moments, because they don't seem worth the effort. I need help. I've been trying to manage this shit on my own for years, but I'm not doing a very good job of it. I've tried talking to friends and family about it, but nobody seems willing or interested in helping. My health insurance sucks, so the only psychiatrist covered by it can't see me as much as I need. I'm broke. My company is failing. I'm behind on bills and have frequent panic attacks. I know what I should do, but between juggling all the stuff you're expected to as an adult and managing the depression, I don't have the energy or motivation to do it. That it's not as easy as to just think positive, meditate, or completely divert my entire thinking process into something else. It takes a lot of time to even consider that your mental illness has been cured, and sometimes it just never goes away. They need to understand that while I might be a funny person or enjoy having fun, I can't always be people's entertainment. It's super draining to be expected to be in a good mood when I am not. Damn. This one hit hard. I've always been told that I'm like the jokester of my friends, but it kills me when I'm really not feeling it. I've never been diagnosed with depression, though I have with anxiety. But I've definitely been in funks where it kills me that all they want is the funny me and I just can't, so they all seem worse off because of it. I'd love to share some happiness. There just isn't any in the tank right now. Just relax, life is good, just be happy. All not helpful. At all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.